What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. This is your top 5 Manchester United players that we need to sell this summer. At number 5 is Chris Smalling. Now, Chris Smalling, I like Chris Smalling. And there's a reason why I put him at 5 is because there's probably about 5 or 6 we need to sell. So he's lower down on the list. I think he gets a lot of stick. Unjust stick in parts. We've seen that he's gone over to Italy for Rome and he's played very well. Some people are looking at that like, oh, if we could get this Smalling, why can't we get this Smalling? Maybe he's not as bad as we first thought. I mean, I never thought he was that bad in the first place, but he ain't good enough to start for Man United, and that's the bottom line. He wants to start. He thinks he's good enough to start wherever it may be, but that can't be at Man United. If we want to challenge for titles, can't have someone like Chris Smalling starting week in, week out. If he's happy to be, I don't know, 4th choice centre back, then yeah, maybe keep him. But I think at this stage of his career, at this age, he's been with Man United for over 10 years. He joined from Fulham. I think it's time to go. I think it's time to part ways. He seems happy in Italy, happy over at Roma. There's been rumours about Manchester United possibly selling him to Arsenal. Nah, I wouldn't want that, not to a domestic rival, but I'll be happy to see him go in this summer. At number 4, Jesse Lingard, the much derised Jesse Lingard. You know, he's given us some good moments, some brilliant moments in Man United colours. Dancing at the Emirates, scoring big goals in big games, if we're going to be honest. And that FA Cup final goal, that winning goal in extra time against Crystal Palace in 2016 was really, you might say, the crown of the small jewel that has been his Manchester United career, but he's really overall flattered to deceive. You know, he went through a period where he couldn't stop scoring for about 2-3 months, and he's never recovered that form, never recovered that level of performance, and simply, again, he is not good enough to start week in, week out for Man United. And we've seen that this season. We brought in Bruno Fernandes in January and he was benched immediately, out of the squad at times. And it showed that Solskjaer was just playing him because he had to, not because he wanted to. He is not good enough to start. But the reality is, all throughout our title winning years under Sir Alex Ferguson, we have plenty of players who you'd say aren't good enough to start for Man United. But they were squad players, the utility players. I think Lingard will be a good utility player. But with everything that's happened with Man United, off the field, on the field, I think it might be time for him to move on and maybe make a Premier League career elsewhere where he can play week in, week out, where he can rediscover his form and his enjoyment for the game, because we've seen things happen off the field, on social media, etc., that must take away the enjoyment from him. So I think at number 4, he's a player that Man United need to sell in the summer. And at number 3, another player from our academy, Andres Pereira. He has got to go. Got to go. Really got to go. I mean, I was saying for some time, this guy can't be Brazilian. You're lying to me. No Brazilian can be this bad. And he flatters to deceive to the highest order. He's got some technique, fancy, he got a little fancy name and a fancy flicks, and it looks good at times, but really there's no end product, no effectiveness. He went on loan to Valencia and we said, that's what we need, let's bring him back, let's get him back into the fold. And Jose brought him in, played at a number 6, dropped him very soon after. Solskjaer's given him chance after chance after chance. I mean, way too much chances. Even without the sign of Bruno Fernandes, for me, there were players who should have been playing above him, giving chances, the likes of Angel Gomez. But Andres Pereira, as I said, he ain't no Brazilian. He ain't fooling me. And when I did my little bit of research, I was like, oh, he ain't Brazilian. He's Belgian. It makes sense. The man ain't good enough for Man United. He has got to go this summer. At number 2, I'm going with Alexis Sanchez. And it's a real disappointment for Alexis Sanchez because he came under a big fan furore beat Manchester City, our rivals, to that transfer. 400,000 a week, basic. Go rising to 500 when you include appearances and the little amount of goals and assists that he has got. He has been a massive, massive flop. One of the biggest flops we have ever had in the Premier League, up there with the likes of Varane, Di Maria, etc. It's been so poor. He's even gone over to Italy now, into Milan, and through injury and other things, he can't even get into their team. There's no way they're signing him on a permanent deal at the cost of his wages. He ain't going to take a pay cut at this stage of his career. So unfortunately, he's going to have to come back. But if we can get rid of him, I beg. We know we heard in the summer there was issues with on the training ground with him and Mason Greenwood, and Solskjaer said, no, not in my squad. Not in my squad. You have got to go. And he shipped him off as soon as he could, but as I said, it's not permanently. So we've got to find a permanent buyer. His wages has ruined the wage structure at the club, and brought everything out of kilter. Everything. Players are demanding X, Y, Z because Sanchez is on that. And it makes sense. If Sanchez is earning 500,000 a week, 400,000 a week, then I should earn 300, 400,000. I understand that. So we've got to get him out just to bring the wage structure back to an acceptable level. And at number one, it is Phil Jones. The walking meme that is Phil Jones. How he got another Manchester United contract in 2019, I will never understand. And I'm not blaming Solskjaer for it. He was an interim manager. That was all Ed Woodward and Matt Judge and whoever is in charge of transfers. What, do they think he's going to have a sell-on value? Nobody wants Phil Jones. We don't want Phil Jones. Solskjaer don't want. He ain't good enough. He's been there since 2011. And he's probably worse now than he was then. And I'm not saying he was bad then, because he was a young upcoming defender. People were liking him to, a young John Terry. The talent was there. He ain't improved. He's erratic. He's always lunging into challenges and crawling on the floor. He's left for dead. He is such a bad defender. Now, if I have to see him play for Man United, every time I do, it makes my stomach churn, man. It makes my stomach churn. We gave him a contract, and now we're suffering for it, man. Even in the Europa League, the League Cup, we shouldn't have to play a Phil Jones. He has got to go. The longer he is at Manchester United, it just shows the lack of direction the club has been going on. It is the symbol of the decline of Manchester United from Fergie to now. Phil Jones at number one. You have got to leave Man United this summer. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you soon.